Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the second session of Day 3 of Prabandhan 2020. I would like to introduce you all to the speaker now, Mr. Keshav Tayal, who is CEO of Krishna Realty and CMO of Akash Garments. Hailing from a leading family which has interests in a variety of sectors and business history of 5 decades from finance to manufacturing, he started working in the business at a young age of 18 across different industries. He studied his MFAB from ISB Hyderabad in collaboration with Harvard Business School. Then he did his diploma in the Northwestern University and at Kellogg Institute of Management from Chicago. He also holds a diploma in marketing from Wellington Institute of Management Studies, Mumbai. He's done his MCom and his BMS from the University of Mumbai. He has an experience of 12 years, starting at the age of 18 in sectors like real estate, retail, and advanced textiles. Currently, he heads Advanced Textile Division for medical textiles and garments for the Krishna Group of Industries, and his interests are travel, music, football and cricket, cooking, and pistol shooting as well. So, over to Mr. Keshav Tayal.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to be here at Prabandhan 2020, your induction program for all the new students who are going to be tomorrow's young leaders who have enrolled themselves at the Aditya Business School. I would like to specially thank Dr. Sunita Srivastavji, Dr. Manoj Bhatiaji, and the entire management of Aditya Institute for having me here. Before I begin, I would just like to give you a small insight of how I started my career and how the start and how a few key decisions that I made early in life helped me to where I am today or to the person that I've become today. When I was at the age of 17, I started interning and I took a job at Edelweiss. This was primarily done because my father didn't want me to dive into a family business right in the start. To have a department with me and to run everything like it was very easy. So I did a job at Edelweiss to primarily understand the discipline, work timing, respecting your seniors, and how a general professional life generally at an organized industry works. So a major advantage or major benefit that I think I had was that right from the start of my age of 18 till today, I have constantly done most of my education side by my work. So what that has done is that has made it much easier for me to understand what are the tools that I've been taught in different classes and different courses, and how I can use those tools and apply them in actual practical work. I mean, at the end of the day, all of us are here for that, to understand and sharpen our tools and how to use those tools and apply them in your daily work. That may be personal, professional, in anything, and how to excel in those. So I feel I was quite privileged to have worked and studied side by side. That helped me understand to keep a right balance and when to use what tool and what skill sets that I have been taught. Many of you all may have certain inherent talents, may have certain qualities. For example, like you must be very good at math. But what is also important is that when you become an entrepreneur or when you start your own business, I think it's very important to sharpen your skills along with your tools and your talents that you have. At the end of the day, having a talent or having some quality might not give you that much of an edge if you don't really work hard at it. So, for example, if you're very good at math or if you're very good at science, working hard on those talents and working hard into moving those talents into skill sets is very important. Primarily, this is what a business school is for. This is what your curriculum, your modules that you are taught will actually sharpen. So, different modules like economics, your analytics, business accounting analysis, all your econometrics, all these different new age techniques, innovation, you have negotiation techniques. All of these are going to be the skill sets that you will be taught in your course here at Aditya Institute, which are going to act like a razor sharp edge to sharpen your skill set. And these are the skill sets that will come very handy to you when you're working in your day-to-day life. Many of you have already done business school, have already done accounting, have already done different courses, or been to business school till now, or done your college. And now this is the first important step you're going to take to become young business leaders. When you take the step, it is important to learn how to use all of these values and all of this knowledge that you're going to get in as a business leader or as an entrepreneur in starting your own business. There are certain points which I feel have been helpful to me all this while and have helped me move ahead and address some failures and also taste some success. I would like to share some of these points with you. So maybe I hope that give you a little bit of tips or insights or things that might work for you like they worked for me. Firstly, what is very, very important is that you need to have passion with what you're doing. You need to love what you're doing. We all have passions. We all have things that we like. We all have things that, but sometimes we don't even know where our passion lies. So looking out for that passion, constantly wanting to identify it is very important. When you do something with passion, sleeping, eating, whatever you do, it's so easy to think about it that your work doesn't feel like work to you anymore. That is the time when ideas, thoughts, strategies, plans flow to you automatically because you're so deeply connected to this passion. If you're not passionate towards something, then you might put in your work, you might put in all your knowledge, but sooner or later you might feel suffocated or you just might give up. So it's very, very important to love what you're doing. It becomes much easier and it becomes much more fruitful because at the end of the day, when you get results for something that the success and the victory is that much more sweeter. Many people, what happens is we're so drawn to myths, the way things have been done, that it's sometimes very difficult for people to take risks and to follow their dream. Because it's much easier to kind of do a job and not follow your passion, which might have more difficulty, more thorns on the way. But where does that get you? If you don't follow your passion, you will be doing the same redundant job. You'll be doing something that might not excite you. But when you follow something that you're passionate about, it's very easy to move ahead, excel, and it's very easy to achieve what you want to achieve. Along with passion comes a lot, and we all know that we all are risk averse. We don't want to take risks. We want to be in a comfortable position. And when we do that, we don't realize the world, our colleagues, our peers passing us by. So till the time you don't take risks, you will not know what does and what does not work for you. Taking risks, what happens is most of your experiments or most of the risks you take are bound to fail because by definition they are experiments. But on let's say on 95 failed experiments, your 5 successful experiments that might get you success will overshadow all these 95 failures that you faced, and the learnings from those 99 failures are actually going to be the ones that are going to teach what not to do, what to do. So it's very important for you to even go through this failure. Today, let me give you a small example about failures and something that you all might be very known towards. So we all know that the man who is the only person on earth to cross a wealth of 200 billion of Jeff Bezos, the leader and owner of Amazon. I don't know how many of you all know that between 2000 and 2010, the working capital of Amazon was a negative 1 billion. That is way more than combined budgets of many Indian companies altogether. Today, when he started off Amazon, it was such a big risk because he was building a business into the future. He had many failures. He had an online store called Pets. He had multiple online ventures. But today you see the risks that he's taken, the billions and billions of dollars that he's burnt, and the different segments like Amazon Web Services, Kindle, you have Amazon sellers accounts, you have Prime. All of these are fruits of risks that have failed. Now, if he would not have taken these risks, if he would not have followed these practices, he would not have got to where he is today. So, and this goes for a lot of people. You have Elon Musk of Tesla. He's been struggling for a while. He started out with so many different ventures. He started PayPal, he sold it, then he started Tesla. And it's not easy for a company like Tesla to take on the likes of Toyota, General Motors, Maruti Suzuki, Tata, all the largest companies which had presence all over the globe. So today, failure is a very important part. You have another example of Steve Jobs with Apple. He was kicked out of his own company, but he didn't give up. He followed what he wanted to follow. A few years later, he was invited back as the CEO of Apple to create what we all know, the next iPhone. So my first point summarizes that passion is very important. Follow it and take the risks that are necessary to follow your passion, because the risks and the failures are what is the right path to achieving success in what you're passionate about. Second thing that I would like to stress on is that be an innovator, be an explorer, and don't be a protector. When you're innovating, you're always competing with the future. And when you're competing with the future, you're always ahead. Many of us sometimes are comfortable in the place that we are because we don't want to be uncomfortable. We don't want to venture into the unknown. But if we don't venture into the unknown, in the future, definitely we're going to be beaten. Protectors are basically the opposite of explorers, people and companies. It should not be necessarily people. Basically, these protectors, they stop innovating, they stop moving ahead, and they protect what they have. And sooner or later, they come into a desperate where they have to end up making such a big decision, which puts the life of the company at stake. So innovation is something that I would like you to always follow. And it's my advice that if you're always innovating, you always have that is different, and you always have some path to move towards. I would like to follow up most of these with some examples so that you understand how important these points are. I'm sure all of you have heard of this company called Xerox. So, but I don't know how many of you know that Xerox was the first to invent a computer. So what Xerox did was they developed a computer just to send a signal to the printer to print a command. They were so hell-bent and they were so focused on creating the perfect printer that they didn't realize what they had was a revolutionary computer that would change lives. So what they did is they invited Apple, they invited Microsoft to come and see this new technology that they were so proud of. What happened after that, we all know. Microsoft and Apple today together rule the computer world. But Xerox missed out of the opportunity because they were so focused and they were not ready to adapt. And now they missed out on an opportunity of a lifetime. Similar, we can see something with BlackBerry. They had a mobile phone, they had a BBM, but they failed to recognize the real value of BBM. And now WhatsApp has done the same thing and given it to everyone else. Innovation is very important, but along with innovation, there are two major aspects to that. It's a very, very fine balance between a strong objective. So this is a paradox. You have to be very, very focused towards your goal because it's very easy to give up on a goal while you're executing to reach it. At the same time, while you're moving towards your goal, it's very important to be flexible because while you're taking your steps to achieve your goal, flexibility will help you to adapt to a situation and to move yourself in certain fine-tuned manners so that you can move towards what you want to achieve. So this is something else that is very, very important. Now, when I talk about innovation, there are multiple types of companies that have done this innovation. You can innovate in two types, broadly that I can narrow down on. One is new innovative things that you develop. These could be like an electric car developed by Tesla or a SpaceX reusable rocket. These are things that have been newly developed or new innovations. On the other hand, you can have innovations within a certain sphere. For example, an innovative way of doing an already existing task or a business. So let's take, for example, Zara. So Zara innovated the way on how to do retail businesses and how to do retail in today's business by launching multiple collections a year, by having a different supply chain policy. All of those case studies are available for you to read. So identify what your passion is, work hard towards it, keep a fixed goal, and don't be afraid of failure. At the same time, be open to innovation. This is what is going to keep you ahead. This is what is going to keep you in line with the future. We all know the world is moving so fast. You know, in this pandemic, we have a simple example of innovation, a simple example of things we're doing differently. Here we're doing a conference, here we're doing a seminar with so many of us, and none of us are together, but still we're connected. You can have information, you can have guidance, you can have tips from people across the globe in different cities. At the same time, you can be one and discuss on a common topic. So being in line with present and working towards the future is something that is going to keep you on your toes and always ready for something that might be an opportunity you want to grasp. Today is very important for young people like you and myself. No, I believe I'm not as old as I might think or I might have been sounded like. So it's very important for us to kind of focus on being updated, being tech savvy, learning new techniques. Because all these new innovation and techniques are different mediums by which we can achieve something much faster in a more organized manner and by putting in more efficient time, but less time in terms of volume of time. So I think this is something very important. One more thing, what I think is very important for me to give you a little bit of insight on is that I remember my time in school, college, business school. Know your weaknesses, things that you're not good at, and know your strengths. Your strengths are something that you would want to use as an advantage, and your weaknesses are something that you would want to sharpen, you would want to reduce, and you would want to turn them into your strengths. If some of you are at Excel, Microsoft Excel, or presentations, or creating catalogs, or for example, negotiation on a deal, research, online research, these are things, or even some courses that you might want to take, quantitative methods. You might want to take certain courses on, let's say, how to develop, let's say, an animated video, or a presentation that you might want to market your product with. This is the right time. This is the age when you will be able to grasp. You will be able to take that in your hand, and you will be able to learn it and know how to apply it best. I also wanted to give you one more advice where from the age of 20 to 30, this is your golden period. During this time, all of you can explore, all of you can learn, all of you can study, all of you can identify things that you want to know more about. Some of you might want to become corporate lawyers. Some of you might want to become people handling marketing or PR for a leading MNC. This is the time when you develop those skills and talents so that when you unleash yourself to the world, you're equipped with the proper weapon, you're equipped with the proper tools on how to engage with them. So 20 to 30, this is your right time where forget about everything else and just focus on learning. I've seen your semester one module list. There are a lot of exciting courses. Business analytics is something that really excites me. It gives you insight on, let's say, 20 years down the line, or let's say after this is the product that I'm launching, this is the product price, these are the product features that I'm going to be launching. Business analytics can help you understand the probability of success of that product in certain markets. What is the right price point you should put at? What is the right size of product that you should do? Everything is going to help you in a vast manner. Now, apart from hello, sorry. So this is very, very important in these 10 years from 20 to 30. Gain as much as learning, gain as much as knowledge as you can. From 30 to 40, identify a role model, the right boss who you want to work with. Pick a small company. What happens in larger companies is that there's an army of people. So the work that you get is very task-based work. When you join a smaller company, you understand how to do multiple things, multiple roles, multiple tasks, and you become sort of like an all-rounder who is not only looking after one particular department. If you're working in a smaller company, you might have to do HR, you might have to do marketing, you might have to respond to emails, and you will be able to shadow your boss. You will be able to shadow someone who you really admire and understand the qualities what really make them great, or what really make them the person they are that you would want to follow them. From 40 to 50 is the time when you use all this knowledge that you've gained in business school, in working with your working with, and you unleash yourself in the world. And that's when you use all these talents, all these learnings, and are willing to experiment to move ahead. So this is something that very, very important. To round it off, guys, this is your golden time. This is the time when nothing is expected from you. You will just gain knowledge, gain insight, and learn how to apply that in your day-to-day life. Before I part off, there's one very, very important thing that I would like to stress on, and this is probably the most important learning I've had in business school. You have many mediums of learnings in your business school. You have your teachers, you have your books, you have classes, you have online learning. But the biggest learning that is going to come to you in business school is via your peers, all your colleagues, all the students who are with you. Just imagine you have 50 to 55 different, if I'm not mistaken, you have 50 to 55 students in your class. You have 50 to 55 different to solve the same problem. What happens is many times we get caught in a particular way how to solve a problem. A similar thing happened with me. When I was in business school, I had been, before I joined business school, I had been taught certain ways of how a problem is solved. So I always thought this is the only way how this thing can be solved. After I joined business school, I learned from all my peers that each of them had a different way to approach a problem and how they'd solve it. So this is a myth that got busted, where I suddenly knew that there's not this way that I have been following. That's not the only way how to solve a problem. So I had so much to learn from all my peers that I understood all their perspectives. And you have such a big advantage that you're all learning a similar course, the same course. You all come from the same background, similar age, and you have taken the same initiative. This already shows that you have the initiative to do what it takes to become a future leader of young India. So be focused, be bold, be ready to take risks, and more importantly, be ready to information that you have and share it with your class, and be ready to take the next step to become a next young leader. Thank you so much for having me here. And I hope that my talk has not been like a lecture, and in some ways it is like an experience that I would like to share with you. I hope you've learned. Thank you so much.
Okay, Mr. Keshav Dayal, thank you so much for sharing your experience in multiple ways. What I really appreciated and enjoyed about the way in which you have expressed the multiple dimensions that the budding professionals should try and explore. I think the best part was that you have emphasized and focused on the value and the worth of creating a network, and that too with diverse kinds of people, with diverse sources of knowledge. So one powerful word which I could pick out of your entire experience is diversity. And trust me, I mean, for every solution that we have to work on, the best approach is to go in for alternative courses of action. And once you start to explore each alternative course, that becomes a learning curve in itself. So to be able to stay ahead of the curve in terms of trying to, find better ways of even improving on your own ways of thinking, I think you have to be open enough. So keeping an open mind and trying to explore all possible options around you, I think that's one thing that the students would have taken away out of your experience sharing session. It was extremely enjoyable. And on behalf of the Institute, Aditya Institute, I take this opportunity to thank you for your valuable insights, your experience at this young age. I'm sure is an eye opener for these young managers who are going to take up the world in times to come. So they are going to carry forward all these learnings with them. And I think a huge, huge thanks on behalf of the entire team of PGTM students batch 2020-2022. I extend my gratitude to you. Thank you so much, Mr. Keshav Dayal. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been my honor. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.